So instead of just vertical online, we now have also horizontal offline, which makes a full embedded and real new embedded payment experience.
Today on Customer Land, I'm honored and flattered, frankly, to be speaking with Marc-Henri Desportes, who is Chief Executive Officer at Worldline, and Richard Straver, who's founder of OPP, on the eve of some big announcements in their world. But first of all, thank you both for joining me. I know you're very, very busy today with your agendas, but this is exciting news. And I'm thinking, just for the context of the conversation, if Marc-Henri, if you could just give us a brief of your role at Worldline, and then Richard, if you wouldn't mind doing the same for your role at OPP.
Yeah, okay, if you wish. Briefly, it's pretty simple. As for myself, indeed, I'm the CEO of Worldline, so in this role, in charge of the full scope of the company, and until recently, I was also handling directly merchant services. Now we have on board a new head with Paul Michael Clark. So I'm relying on him for this part, and I'm just concentrating on my CEO job.
All right.
Very good.
I think then that's me. I'm Richard Straver. I'm the founder of OPP, or otherwise called the Online Payment Platform. I founded actually the business about 15 years ago, but the first 7 years we were a web development company, and I myself am a developer and UX designer. So I used to build for the first 7 years. I built numerous platforms and marketplaces, and that's also where we kind of found out that there was still a lot of friction if you wanted to integrate embedded payments, or the old embedded payments as we see it, that was already in the market kind of back then. And then we basically just decided to build it ourselves, also to provide something better to the clients that we were already building platforms for. And it was going so well that at some point we stopped building platforms and marketplaces and just kept building OPP. And that's what I'm still doing today.
It appears to have been a very smart move. So the announcement of just a couple of days ago, I'm going to read this just to make sure I get it just right. Worldline and OPP unveil groundbreaking embedded payments solution for platforms and marketplaces in Europe. I know this is big news because I'm familiar with the space, but there may be people, and in fact, I'm sure there are people listening and watching this who may not understand the importance of this particular integration and the announcement. So for context, maybe we could just talk a little bit about some of the unique challenges that marketplaces face in the payments world, because they are unique. And I don't know, Richard, if you want to take that, or Marc-Henri, if you'd rather.
Shall I? Yeah, I mean, it's a great, kind of connecting to what I kind of said earlier. So at the end of the day, what platforms and marketplaces want is to provide the best user journey, the most frictionless environment for the seller and the buyer, or anyone that's offering services and goods on the marketplace, and the one that wants to purchase, to have the most seamless, frictionless experience in doing that. And when you look at the payment landscape, or the payment technology that was previously built, was really geared towards web shops, the real first wave of online commerce, where the typical single point web shops, where you're purchasing something from that particular business and that's it. So you make a transaction and it goes to that business, and kind of we're done. When you look at the marketplace, there's suddenly a marketplace in between, and you have hundreds of thousands, or perhaps even millions of merchants that need to or want to receive a transaction through that marketplace. So there you already see that the core dynamic and fundamentals there are just very different to what you see, what is needed for web shops. So one of the first things I think we spend a lot of time on is to make sure that any transaction could be split into as many parts as you want, to enable checkouts that have multiple products that are sold by multiple merchants, and to avoid having multiple transactions, but simply have one transaction and going there. And then the next thing is that, of course, building these cool user journeys, also the marketplace often wants to earn or provide some revenue, or get some revenue out of these new services that they build. So what they want to do ideally is to derive fees midair from one or multiple of these splits and to have all the level of flexibility there as well. So we completely automated that as well. And then you see that a lot of these platforms and marketplaces try to make journeys more secure than what you had previously out there in the market. So looking at, for example, renting something or getting or buying something on a second-hand marketplace, what you want to do is make sure that the products actually have been arrived before the money is already at that merchant. Because these merchants, again, can be millions of merchants, could be consumers, businesses, and then you cannot guarantee that these merchants are legit. I mean, up until a certain point, perhaps you can, but not in all cases. So if you want to do this scalably, you want to employ or deploy escrow to ensure that the parameters or the products have been delivered or the rental house is actually available and you could check in before the funds are disappearing towards the merchant. So that's just a couple of these. And last but not least, it's onboarding. So the KYC process, in order for platforms and marketplaces to comply with the financial regulation, they need to make sure that the recipient merchants of these payments have been KYC'd by a financial institution. And that is often a big threshold or friction point of conversion and stuff like that. And also with the older embedded technology, you really had to go to the PSP and do the KYC there, even potentially with contracts and paperwork and stuff like that. So what we did is we made APIs that you can directly integrate in the marketplace and platform, so the user never has to leave that environment to finalize its KYC. And all of these elements and more, but I want to keep on going. All of these elements are unique to the marketplace platform dynamic, and that's the stuff that we built and offer to the market.
So I think at a future conversation, I'd love to get into the details of how you've managed to package all that together, because it's a lot of functionality that you're wrapping together, and a lot of it's complex, and a lot of it, frankly, historically hasn't played well together. So those challenges, I'm sure, were huge. A groundswell starts small, quietly building into something powerful, unstoppable. That's also how market momentum works. If you're launching a startup, introducing a new product, rebranding, or rolling out a new service or initiative, it's not enough to simply show up. You need to build momentum strategically. Specializing in go-to-market strategy, Groundswell works with organizations at every stage, creating custom plans that help products and brands break through the noise and grow, ensuring a launch that doesn't just happen, it sticks. From understanding your target audience to perfecting your positioning, Groundswell's approach ensures you're not just catching the market's attention, but keeping it. With expert guidance, your product moves from launch day to long-term success, turning that initial wave of excitement into sustained growth. If you're ready to take your product, service, or brand to market, it might be time to think about a Groundswell strategy. Visit groundswell.cc to learn more. I'd like to talk a little bit about the relationship between Worldline and OPP, and maybe Marc-Henri, if maybe you could speak to that a little bit. The relationship between Worldline and OPP, how did it start? How has it matured? What got it to this point? And, if I may, why this choice in partners?
Yeah, no, sure. Indeed, in Worldline, we had this reach and size of capacities to handle payments throughout Europe in terms of high number of countries, a lot of in-store payments, online capabilities, but always more the traditional web shop handling way. And we knew this economy of platforms was ramping up, and you had more and more marketplaces, not only the big ones. There is in Europe, a lot of country means a lot of different solutions in each country. So long tail of platforms being built that were needing a simple solution for what Richard explained, bringing together buyer and seller, so onboarding them on both sides and ending the flow of money between them with all the rules and regulations. This is hyper-regulated Everything in these different steps has to follow certain rules that are constantly evolving and being increased. And so the people having the smart ideas about what marketplaces to build, these visionaries, they needed something really simple, an interface where all this, this interface that would allow this connectivity to be extremely simple and scalable, given the diversity of the exchange you had to manage. And we had the size and the capability to serve the payments. We did not have this interface and this flexibility. And that's why we looked for a solution. And we scanned the market, and we found out that OPP was already very advanced in these capabilities, already covering a significant share of the market in big geographies like UK and Germany, not having yet the capability to serve the full European market with all the payment means. So there was a natural fit in working together. And so that's why we made this deal. And then we worked in making and bringing the solution together to the level we are presenting today, which is, we believe, a leap forward in the industry, because that's the first time a payment solution for the platform is really built on something that was designed from the beginning by OPP. We bring really the payment capabilities, but the interface by OPP was designed from inception, from the beginning, to serve the need of the marketplace in the easiest, fastest possible way. And that's this ease of use, this efficiency of the processes that makes the life of the marketplace builder so simple that seduced us. And there were incredible proof points. I think OPP is handling millions. I think you reached 28 million merchants connected on your platform. So it shows the capability to handle very high numbers in a very efficient way, make the life of the marketplace super easy. And that's what seduced us.
That's a great word.
Sorry,
Please.
if I can add a small thing to that. We've been collaborating with Worldline for years already. So we never had our own acquiring. So we really leveraged other acquirers and other gateways, and we kind of had the choice. We always made a smart routing engine so that we could route payments to different acquirers and gateways as was needed or see fit. But with Worldline, we had the best experiences already during the previous years. And one key point there, I think, is eBay Kleinanzeigen. It's the #1 marketplace in Germany, serving 80 million consumers. And there, together, we launched a couple of years ago, which was also super successful collaboration. So that also gave the confidence on both sides that we can do big things together.
Yeah, fantastic. Is this embedded payments solution in market right now, or is it about to be in market? Where do we stand in the timeline right now?
It is in market. It is clearly in market. It's live, and of course, we started by signing on the momentum created by OPP a certain number of first names. But now, with the announcement, with the last effort we did, we make it much more scalable, much more easier in terms of APIs developments, payment solution integration, speed of the various processes. So that's why we are now in a position to accelerate and add a very important feature, one that will make a big difference coming in the coming weeks. It is the possibility to receive physical payment as well. We always think about the online part of the transaction, but in many cases, typically when you have a delivery of a good, of a service at home, people feel good about paying at the moment of delivery. And so you need to have a payment, also a physical payment possibility. And bringing our tap on mobile solution from the Worldline stack in combination with the OPP stuff is bringing it to a next level. But absolutely, it's really live, and Richard can share some additional numbers about it.
Yeah, so we have currently over 200 different platforms and marketplaces that have integrated OPP in Europe. Through them, we have 28 million merchants that are live on the platform that we've onboarded. Currently, we have about 1 million new merchants onboarding every month. Wow. And So most of those are consumer merchants, so consumer sellers on the Kleinanzeigens or Marktplaats or Gumtree for that matter. So yes, we were already in the market for a couple of years and providing again payments for over 200 platforms. But at that moment and still, we were verticalized. So we served marketplaces that were purely secondhand or purely leisure or purely, say, an auction on certain categories. Now, this is good, but what we want to do is going forward, we'll also provide horizontal platforms with exactly the same payment capabilities. And what are horizontal platforms? The likes like Shopify, where every new merchant can potentially be a very different categoric merchant.
Right.
So that's one. Right now we're verticalized. We'll also add the horizontal to it. And right now we are online, but we'll also add offline now with the POS capabilities. So instead of just vertical online, we now have also horizontal offline, which makes a full embedded and real new embedded payment experience.
That's a big deal. The quantity and pace at which you're onboarding merchants is wild. I can't imagine what that must look like operationally.
Thank you.
And how huge and stressed the team must be.
It's clearly the strength of the OPP team is to have optimized this onboarding process with breakthrough automation that in a way that is incredibly efficient. So this obsession of user experience that Richard and his team has made a huge difference there. Because to reach this level, you really need to be super optimized in every step of the online process so that you don't have any exception or any hiccups. And that's really the incredible strength of this solution.
Can we spend the last few moments? I know we had a very limited window here for this conversation, but the last few minutes just talking about your rollout plans geographically, where and when you'll be going to take the platform next.
Without Europe, clearly covering full Europe, including UK and Switzerland. So it's beyond the political Europe. Scandinavia is included, and that will be our core focus for the period to come. Then later on, at some point, go global. But really clearly what we are focusing on right now is Europe.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
There are going to be a handful of people listening and watching who will be wondering about your U.S. plans, but we can leave that for another date.
Yeah, it's the next steps. Will be for later. We have some small activity with ISVs in the US right now in Worldline, but I think bringing here this solution has really been optimized for the Europe and the intensity of regulation in Europe. Richard has seen that have developed incredible knowledge. I think we all know that Europe always stands ahead of the crowd when it comes to regulation. So once you have achieved this, you're ready for all the rest. To say it in simple terms, we believe we leapfrog the solution for marketplaces with what we are doing together. It's going to be better in terms of easiness of onboarding. A marketplace can be onboarded in a matter of a couple of weeks. It will be faster than competition when it comes to merchant onboarding. You will have a better reach in terms of local payment methods, and we'll get to the best level of compliance with European regulation, which is not a detail because it's evolving and slowly but surely you have many solutions that will fall a bit out of sync with this regulation. So that's what we are bringing. Our conviction is you create a new platform today in Europe, that's the best solution for you.